Rams 38, Giants 11. Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. The Giants are 1-5. Another losing season. A rough game today. You know, it's just on all angles. The injuries, the play. We're going to talk about Dave Gettleman, which we usually don't do on reaction, recap pods, Monday pods, but I feel like it needs to be talked about because of this coming off such a blowout where the Giants are 4 games back of a division lead and 2 weeks before the trade deadline. But Justin, I mean, you were at the game today.
Yep.
How was it? I mean, I bet I honestly think I would have had more fun at the game because at least I could have been and with my people and being like, screw this.
Yeah, no, there was definitely a lot of that energy. I went with Snacks first time that Snacks and I went to a game together. We made it out, and I still have my tickets, which is pretty much a miracle if you ask me. It was the best thing about today. Also, I don't know if we have to save it for maybe the end of the show to fool around and have some fun. Art Stapleton brought me a chair, and you don't
last
really.
10 minutes we'll recap. We'll talk about everything. I want to know about you guys.
We'll have fun.
Snacks being mad and everything. We'll have some fun at the end of the show.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that if you want to have fun. But 99% of this will be misery. Yeah, the stadium was, I don't know, empty. It got empty, and there was just a weird energy around the halftime. Remembering the Super Bowl 46. But it was also normal. Like, it was weird, but it was also just normal. I mean, because it's just rinse and repeat of going to a Giants game, getting excited for it, but at the same time still not having a ton of expectations, but still being disappointed and walking out at the end of it. And it's kind of like nothing new. First of all, I'm sorry if you're seeing this and this isn't great. Your view isn't great. I'm in Snacks' brother's room. If you're clicking on this show for how I look, then you're going to be disappointed every episode. But Bobby, here's like my beginning thoughts, and then we can get on. When we were driving home today from MetLife, I heard the voice of the New York Giants say, Bob Papa. I heard him say, "How do you fix this?" And as soon as he said that, I did a double take. I'm like, Bob Papa just asked, "How do you fix this?" After an offseason where the Giants spent hundreds of millions of dollars on free agents, how many top-tier draft picks they've had the last couple years, and ownership basically putting out like win or else vibes all throughout the offseason. And the voice of the New York Giants said after, what are we in? Week 6? The voice of the New York Giants said today, "How do you fix this?" Just to put it in retrospect of where we are.
And I think that's why we're going to talk about Dave Gettleman on a Monday pod, which we usually don't. We're even going to start it with Dave Gettleman. Really the only time we talked about Dave Gettleman a ton on a Monday pod was after the 49ers game last year, and that felt low, and this feels like a whole different. But part of that is what you just said, was expectations. There was expectations for this team, not to be a Super Bowl contender, but to at least be a decent team, not a 1-5 laughingstock coming off of back-to-back blowouts. And I know injuries did have a big part in this game, but I still don't think we walk away with a win, even if Andrew Thomas and Tony, stay healthy. But you're 1-5 with a team that had expectations, and it's not like you had earned some respect before that. I mean, you're 16-38 in your entire tenure under Dave Gettleman, which is essentially like the worst team over the last 3 years, like with the Jets and maybe the Jaguars too. And it's year 4 of a GM, and you're 1-5. Yeah. And the previous years, you were 0-5. You were 1-5. We were there 1-5 last season. The year before that, they were 2-4. And then the year before that, maybe I think they probably were 2-4 again. Yeah. So it's not like they've had other good starts. This is rock bottom, and it's just we know that it's time to move on from the GM. But man, I feel like it should just be done now. And
it has to.
There's benefits to it. It's not just being an angry fan. There's benefits to firing him now instead of waiting till the end of the season.
Yeah, you mentioned about earning the right to have expectations, and frankly, I almost feel like the Giants are the only ones sometimes that feel like they've earned those expectations, where I feel like in 2020, they legitimately started to earn those expectations, where there are signs of progress, where the Giants play the future Super Bowl champions, to the wire, down to the wire, and Daniel Jones is a half a second away from pulling the trigger on a Dion Lewis 2-point conversion from tying that football game despite him having a terrible game, right? The defense took steps up when they weren't expected to. So certain things, like, they started to earn it. But ultimately, what the Giants did this offseason is, which they've done before, by the way, they did it in 2016, except it worked out a little bit better then, but for only 1 year. They tried to basically jump hoops and hopscotch over like a proper rebuild, proper ways to have roster construction and building through the draft, where that's what they do with these free agency signings. They made their bed, and I'm going to, this is a phrase I've said all year, and I feel like this is the phrase for the Giants. They made their bed, they're lying in it. They dug their graves, they're now lying in those too. And that is what they did with these free agent signings, where yes, I'm so glad that they did it, because I love Adoree Jackson, I love Kenny Golladay, I love the moves that they did make. I still think those players can be good, but when you make those moves, it says something. It says something to the fan base, and also it's supposed to say something to the rest of the National Football League. But I guess there's a reason why the national media, always seems to hate the Giants, because maybe it's actually justified, and maybe the Giants and Giants fans constantly are overestimating and over-evaluating what our roster actually is. Which I hate to say it, because we had expectations, but we're fans, and fan is short for fanatic. So I won't apologize for having those expectations.
At the same time, this roster has some talent, and the expectations weren't like, they were there for a reason, 8 wins right now. Like, that would have been like a kind of a timid expectation. Like the beat reporters who aren't, fans of the team, and I'm not talking about, there's some beat reporters who are fans of the team, but the ones who aren't were like 8-9 games, we were saying 10 wins to 4, which is, seems laughable now, but it still is like, okay, it's a failure. You got to fire the GM, and you know what? The next GM, it could be a decent little landing spot because it does have some talent. It's year 4. It should have a lot more talent than it does at year 4, but it does have some talent to start over with and some draft picks. And you know what? And firing Dave Gettleman, you're not telling the head coaching and the coaching staff and the players to give up on this season. So like, you can fire Dave Gettleman and still not be quote unquote give up on the season, but the front office, the GM, they should, or whoever steps in should view the rest of this season as an evaluation. Yeah. Come in and what they did with Ernie Accorsi in 2017, do that, but with someone outside, realize, learns from your mistakes. So I do think Gettleman or Mara sometimes learns from his mistakes, but he always makes that one extra mistake. So I do think they're going to try and go outside the building a little bit in this, but get a jump start on it, because guess what? You don't want to fire him on Black Monday, and then it's like, okay, is ownership going to make the decision to fire the head coach, or do they make the decision to keep the head coach? And now you're either hamstringing a GM with the head coach, or maybe they get their eye on a new GM, at week 14, week 15, maybe doesn't make the deal official, but you kind of can work some back channels and be like, hey, I actually I like what Judge has done. Maybe Judge does some good things at the end of the year, which we'll talk about Judge a little later. Yeah. But it's like, there's so many benefits to do this now and not wait till later. And that's, you got the trade deadline in 2 weeks. Yeah. Like Dave Gettleman, would he trade Peppers for a 4th round pick right now? Probably. But I bet he won it for a 6th round pick, where if Gettleman's gone, you might pull the trigger on some of those things that you won it with that Dave Gettleman probably won it.
Yeah. I almost firing Dave Gettleman for the trade deadline is not even something that's in my brain. What's in my brain right now is firing Dave Gettleman, because the Giants need a whole lot more than the process between Black Monday to whenever you hire the next GM. Or let's just say they do it in week 12. From week 12 to Black Monday, they need time. A lot of time. And John Mara needs a lot of time to find people, the right people, to come in and evaluate this organization about what they are doing, how things are being run, how this is a family business, and even between the blood that's in the building and the blood that's not in the building, which I'm not smart enough. I'm not in the building, so I can't speak on it. But what I want as a fan is just for somebody to come in and dissect and analyze this organization. And that can be done during the regular season, and they need time to do it. Because number one, I don't trust John Mara to bring in the right person to do that. And number two, they need time, because that time between Black Monday of, okay, well, we're going to fire Gettleman, let's find the next general manager. Not only do we need to evaluate ourselves, we need to find the right candidate. This organization needs time to look at itself in the mirror and figure out what is going wrong. Because so many people, we talk, expectations was the theme of so far. So many people had expectations for this team, and it just flat out could not be going any worse. It could not.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you can hire a GM like before the season's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can't you? I might be wrong about that. Maybe I should do my research, but I feel like you could. Or you could at least have it set up to where, like, all right. Like,
having it set up at least
like,
seems
hey,
right.
Monday we're bringing you in, type of thing. Where coaches, you can't. Like, you can't hire a new coach before the season's over. Unless it's, a Ron Rivera, John Gruden type where they were fired before the season was over and you have it set up to sign them that Monday. And then at Black Monday, like, time is very crucial, Like coaches are signing like quickly, especially nowadays. So time is very, especially now that guys are coming from the college ranks.
And that's my whole point.
Very quickly,
That's my whole point, because there's so much more than the Giants need to do than just hire a GM and hire a new GM and possibly tear it all down with coaches, new roster, and all that kind of stuff, which is so crazy. And my brain can't. We're still in October, and my brain can't fully dissect all of that right now, but. Yeah, I mean, because it just gets so crazy. It gets so crazy, and there is so much that this organization needs to do to fully look at itself and how they evaluate players, how they go about free agency, how they go about the draft. And you feel like they have been taking the right steps the last 2 years, but, you've read off the records to start off the show, and it's no different.
You got to play the results.
Yeah, exactly. There comes a point.
And if you're like blame the coaching, well, guess what? This is the second head coach that Dave Gettleman has hired.
Yeah.
And their coaching does deserve a good amount of blame. But this was hired by Dave Gettleman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to hit up? I mean, we spent 10 minutes on Dave Gettleman, but like, I just wanted to talk about that to start, kind of get it out there, since no one's looking for like an in-depth review of this game. Like, I think it's better to just be like, hey, this is where we stand with Gettleman, because we really haven't had this conversation this season.
All right, so to recap, he should be fired tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, the thing is I have like zero, there's been times where I'm like, something could happen Monday morning. But if there was any thought of firing Dave Gettleman tomorrow, we would have heard some rumors about it already. It's not going to happen.
And that was going to be my next question too, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, so. There's zero chance. I mean, it could happen. It could happen before the season's over, but it's not happening today, tomorrow, whatever.
I agree.
Let's talk about the game a little bit, and
Sure.
We can start with the injuries. They moved the ball well in the first drive. Kadarius Toney's real deal, man. Like, this kid is a game changer. And the fact that we got this guy in a first-round pick, it's where I talk about, maybe this being a decent spot for a GM to come. It's like, man, you got Kadarius, like, this guy changes the game. He was in for 5 passing plays. One of those was a sack. So there's 4 times where the ball was thrown. Justin, he had 3 catches for 36 yards. Like, basically, he's the one who got them down.
He was third on the team in receiving yards today, and he was only in for like one series, and he had the longest play of today. Less than one series, and he had the longest play today of 17 yards. I don't think, even in garbage time, I don't even think the Giants had a 20-yard play. So.
Yeah, and before the garbage time points, he was like second on the team in yards, and it was only by like 5 yards. I think like Pettis or Shepard had like 4 more yards than him. So he's real deal, and losing him at 100% hurt. I don't think this game looks as bad. Maybe hell, it might even be competitive if he gets hurt, but at the same time, you got to deal with injuries.
But still, this points to the Giants' dysfunction on all levels. This is a guy that's being used mostly because he was forced into the lineup. If everyone's healthy, if Slayton, Shepard, and Galladay are healthy, is he still struggling to find snaps, which is the craziest effing thing
I think he would, Justin. Like you said, he was forced in. And think about the game before he got his most reps, which was Atlanta, was the whole, like, he's upset with his role type thing, and, on the sideline in Washington. Yeah, if guys don't get hurt, I don't think he plays, really.
Nuts.
Like, he was forced to play versus, Atlanta, which he didn't even get a ton of reps versus Atlanta, New Orleans, and then, like, he was forced to play. And now it's like, man, this is our guy. Like, he might be the most impactful player on this team right now. It's Kadarius Toney.
He is. I think without a doubt he is.
So at least we got Kadarius Toney. That'll be the fun part of the season. Now we'll talk about bringing these guys back, and then Andrew Thomas went down, and I'm not going to diagnose it, but it he was laying on the ground. He kind of got rolled up, it didn't look good, man. And you see it, Parrott gives up a strip sack, his first rep at left tackle, and we're going to talk about Matt Parrott versus Nate Solder for a second. So you see the results of not having Andrew Thomas. We talk about Tony's impact. So the two most important players for the offense, for Daniel Jones. Jones is obviously the most important. He's the QB. Are gone with those guys, and then you already have Kenny Golladay gone. You have Slayton gone. I mean, the healthy wide receivers on the active roster right now are Sterling Shepard, Colin Johnson, and John Ross. And John Ross had 0 catches. Dante Pettis is on the practice squad right now. And I'm going to say this sucks for Daniel Jones, but they got to let these two dudes get healthy. These two dudes are too important to rush back, and having them playing banged up all year.
And and those injuries are obviously different than the Daniel Jones concussion injury, right?
Yeah, it's like we talked about in the pregame show, which Daniel Jones kind of made it seem like he didn't even really have. I heard a rumor about that this week. Is like Jones kind of cleared all that stuff right during the game, but they didn't want to put him back in. Jones kind of said after the game, like, hey, I got the wind knocked out of me, and like the only concussion symptom that he had was the wobbling when he got up.
Yeah.
So it almost made it seem like he didn't even really have a concussion, because he's like, I didn't have any other symptoms besides that, which lines up with things that happened, talking with his family after, reading a book on the way home, going as fast as you possibly can through the protocols, So I heard a rumor that he could have went back into the Dallas game, but they just didn't want to. But whatever. But it sucks for Daniel Jones because those two guys are the most important for him. But you got to let these two dudes get healthy. And how we may get some news tomorrow that their injuries are serious and they're missing time anyways. But I would really let these guys get healthy. You got the bye week coming up in a couple weeks. We got the Panthers next week. I think it's Panthers, Chiefs, Raiders, and then you have the bye week. So you got 3 more games.
Yep.
So I know it would suck, but if those guys have like some injuries that would linger for the next 3 weeks, I would give them the next 3 weeks off, and then you have the bye week. You give them a month to heal up, or 5 weeks to heal up. Now it sucks because then you're throwing freaking Matt Parrott and Nate Solder out as your tackles, which sucks. It really, really does suck. But the long-term health of Andrew Thomas and Kadarius Toney is more important than this next month.
I agree.
And it's not like Daniel Jones hasn't had to struggle through that before. Like I said, it really does suck for Daniel Jones because those two are the most important players for him. But you got to let those two guys get healthy.
Yep.
You can't have them battling and going in and out of games all year like this.
No, I agree. There's nothing much else to add to that. But Jones today.
Let me read the ad.
Whoa, read the ad. Little teaser. We're going to talk about Jones next.
It's football season, baby. You know what that means? It means Giants suffering. Nope, it means we're going for 2 here with the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. We went for 2 at the end of the game, which was weird.
Ooh, fun.
Kyle Rudolph made an impact. How about that? You know what's funny?
What's funny?
Did you see the Kyle Rudolph, his kids' video before the game? They've been doing that every game.
Oh, no.
I wasn't going to do it, but reading some of the replies and quote tweets of that had me dying.
Oh, no.
It's like Kyle Rudolph's #1 fans and some of the quote tweets, like his only fans, to be honest.
Yikes.
And then I was very close to clipping it because there's a part where they're like, run fast! And it's like Kyle Rudolph's kids are saying the same things as Giants fans right now.
Yes.
Score a touchdown! Like, yes, please, do something. I'm convinced Kyle Rudolph is never going to score a touchdown as a Giant. Blitzing through hairs has never been easier, and it's time you join 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code GIANTS at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping. It's 3 and out the window with all other trimmers. Must be a Giants trimmer. Now go tame that Wildcat offense, the Kadarius Toney, young Joka offense, Joka Wild. The world is starting to open up, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their brand new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant. I actually used the ball deodorant the other day because I got home from the beach.
Sure.
And I didn't want to shower right away, so I just put some ball deodorant on.
Perfect.
Plus, you get 2 free gifts: performance boxer briefs and the Shed travel bag. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's the Lawnmower 4.0 was what you're paying for. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. It really does, honestly, Justin. Like, I am very careful around there. I've always been like, it will take me way longer than it needs to trim up. But with Manscaped, I'm getting reckless down there because it's like I know I'm safe. And
Pause. I have a question. Snacks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love Manscaped?
10.
10.
10. How about that?
Thank you, Snacks.
We love Manscaped, and thank you, Manscaped. We have an exclusive offer for our audience. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. Again, Manscaped also will throw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0. The Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping and at manscaped.com and use code GIANTS. Stiff arm your poobs out of the playoffs this year, just like the Giants, with Manscaped. All right, let's talk about Daniel Jones. Bad game. First bad game since Tampa last year? No, the Arizona game was bad last year. Obviously, the interceptions. And again, you do see the difference without Tony and Thomas. The first interception, so I want to break them down and kind of go through them what happened. Because the first and third were bad Daniel Jones interceptions. Where the second one, Sterling Shepard tripped and fell.
Yeah.
And okay, what is your least favorite? What type of interception do you like less? One that is a bad decision, you misread something, or an inaccurate ball?
I would rather have a bad read, bad decision versus inaccurate ball.
Okay. All right, because there's different types of interceptions.
Because I thought the bad decision one, correct me if I'm wrong, it's from the stands and I was very much checked out for the majority of the game. When you score 28 points in the second quarter, it's kind of deflating. When you allow 28 points in the second quarter. Thought there was one where Jones really forced it, and then there was just an inaccurate throw.
No, they were both bad decisions.
Okay, I thought he forced one of them into like double coverage, just trying to make something happen.
The worst type of interceptions are the Tampa ones, where it's like you're just throwing up a stupid pass, and then it depends consistently. Like if you're getting an interception here and there, maybe it'd be accuracy. It's like, okay, he's accurate, he misses it. But if you're consistently doing like the bad decisions, but again, these were the first real interceptions he's thrown since the Tampa Bay game last year. The first one was a drive concept where you have the tight end on a 10 to 12 yard in route, and then a wide receiver Shep on a drag route, and you're in zone coverage. You're reading one player, and Rapp, the safety from Rams, did a good job. Is that he showed down to like, oh, I'm gonna pick up Shepard, So Jones, as soon as he shows that, Jones is like, I'm going to the end on Ingram. But the end takes more time to progress. So Rapp reads that. He reads Jones' eyes, go back to Ingram, and then floats on it, and then he throws it. So that's a bad decision. The second one was a dig to Shepard, where Shepard stumbled coming out of the break, and that actually would have been a big play. And it was like, when I thought the Giants would just fold going into the half, that was a good play by Jason Garrett, and Shepard just stumbles, and it's an interception, not DJ's fault. And then the third one is one that's bad on Daniel Jones, but it's also why I hate Jason Garrett. You've got a curl on the outside, and then a seam with the slot receiver, who I think was a tight end. And so they show man coverage, but Rapp passes it off to the safety and then plays the underneath on it. So it's a bad decision by Jones, but it's also part of the reason why I hate Jason Garrett's offense, because that play is like you're reading one player. If that player shows one way, you're going the other way type thing. So it's like if your game playing is like, all right, let's try and bait them into this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, that is Daniel Jones' fault. So, I mean, it was a bad game for Daniel Jones, Yep. Again, it was his worst game since the Tampa game. I know the Cardinals game was a bad game, but he was so banged up on that one. And it makes sense that it happens with Andrew Thomas and Kadarius Toney out. So, bad game. Don't stack these bad games on top of him, Daniel Jones. You've been good lately. He's had a really good season. So this is a bad game. He can't stack these on top of each other. Like, this can be a blip, and he wasn't going to not have a bad game for the rest of his career. This is a blip on the radar. Just
Yep.
like cut these out. Even if you have bad tackle play in front of you and no Kadarius Toney, like you gotta, he had bad tackle play at times last year with not great wide receivers, and he was able to maintain. Again, I'm not expecting good offense, but just don't have the bad games.
Yeah, the disaster games, the bad games, the certain decisions that you can point to and be like, oh, well, that's the Daniel Jones that, that we know from 2020 and 2019. What I really hated out of all things were really, I felt at least the third interception. Again, from where I was sitting, and I could be wrong, I just felt like Jones was just trying to make something happen that wasn't there. Because the skill position players are at a deficit, and that's not an excuse. As a quarterback, your job is to make good decisions with the football. Check it down, keep a drive moving. Keep the ball moving any way you can while keeping the ball in your possession. Right. Giving the defense a shot by punting. That's just the game of football. So you can't have the turnovers and you can't have the boneheaded decisions. But I just hated that this game where everything else was falling apart. Now it's one of those games where a lot of people can point to, this is why a lot of people don't believe in Daniel Jones because of the turnovers and stuff like that. So, but like you said, don't stack them on top of each other. If Daniel Jones starts to stack them on top of each other, then that's a conversation that I think we will continue to have about quarterback. But right now, after this game, it's like, yeah, bad game. Let's acknowledge it. But I'm not hanging my hat on DJ right now having one bad game in the midst of having a really, really good start to a season. If he had like an okay start to the season so far and then this disaster game, I would be more concerned and I would be more like, well, what the heck? We just need better we just need better quarterback play. But I'm not really like that right now. So
yeah, I mean Thomas is so important to success, and that's
yes.
If he's out, like if Kadarius Toney's out, it sucks. But if Andrew Thomas is out, that's where I get worried about DJ. It's because he is so important to his success. DJ's gotten better at manipulating the pocket, but it's like the blind side needs to be taken care of. And again, we'll talk about tackles in just a second. But if and here's what we can say, because we don't like to really talk to social media on these podcasts. We try and just talk about the Giants and ourselves. If after this game you're like, I don't know if he's the guy, I don't think anyone should be like totally sold Daniel Jones as a guy. I believe in Daniel Jones. I think he is the guy, but I'm not, not 100% sold. But if you're bringing up like the total turnover numbers at this point, like you're kind of an asshole, right? Like if we're using his rookie turnover numbers against him, I just think you're just trying to be anti-DJ.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're picking a narrative and you're trying to build build your narrative, and especially some of the people that may like to look at the total turnover numbers are also the types of people that will tell you, well, interceptions at the end of halves don't necessarily count, and Jones has had a few of those, and also ripping on Evan Ingram, and Evan Ingram's not good, and he's not a guy that should be on this team long term. Well, Evan Ingram has been a cause of some interceptions that are tipped up in the air. This isn't an episode to really give excuses for anybody, but there is context. So provide that context, especially when you're talking about Daniel Jones and this turnover, specifically with his interceptions, because this was bad, but pretty much the first
it was
time,
a bad game.
The first time since Tampa Bay, almost the whole calendar year, where Tampa Bay last year, where he threw like legit interceptions that were totally on him. So,
just think about this, and I said this on the stream, like that. These were the first interceptions that were Daniel Jones' fault, and I'm not talking about a guy running a run route. Like literally, like one was a Hail Mary, and one was an Evan Ingram, like right in the paws, popped it up. This was his first interception. Joe Biden wasn't even nominated as the president since the last time Daniel Jones did an interception like that. Like, I forgot what it felt like, We
were running for president,
really
actually.
like drive at my heart, and I forgot what that feeling was like.
We were running for president during that time.
Yeah, like we hadn't conceded yet.
Yeah.
Literally voted for myself. I can't wait to run for governor of New York next year.
Yeah.
Still haven't decided if you or Kadarius Toney will be my lieutenant governor.
Is it Kadarius Toney or Young Joko? Who's going to be your lieutenant governor?
One and the same, bro. Young Joker. Maybe I'll have you two run against each other on your platforms.
Maybe we'll just fight. Maybe I'll shave off my eyebrows too.
I was hoping for fight at the end. I love Kadarius Toney.
I'd rather shave my eyebrows.
You should shave your eyebrows
I should.
and start doing the podcast with the beanie thing. What is that called? It's not a skull cap. It's
I feel like it's not. It's a ski mask. Is it called ski mask?
No, a ski mask is like
That covers your face. Yeah. I don't know. I'll ask him next time I see him.
because it's not a hood, you know.
Oh, I'll have Art ask him.
Yeah, how about that? Could just Google what it is.
We're good friends, Art and I.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in the pod.
I'm so excited.
He really came in the clutch for you. Like that was a
He
cool
did.
move by Art Stapleton.
I didn't need a chair, but
Want to talk Joe Judge?
well, cap it off with offense with tackle talk.
Oh
really
yeah, let's
quick.
talk about the tackles.
Yeah.
If you think Nate Solder should start over Matt, like I'm going to start judging people's intelligence on whether they think Matt Parrott or Nate Solder should start.
Okay.
I know that's harsh, but that's where I'm at right now. Like people turned our start Matt Parrott thing into like us saying Matt Parrott was good. Literally, our argument, half of our argument, Justin was like, we want to see if he's good enough to even be a swing tackle.
Yeah.
You know. And
what was my whole rant a couple days ago? You know, how would you? I would hate if a new when a new general manager comes in here and he doesn't have any pro tape of Matt Parrott starting and teams preparing for him, like you've been saying, on a weekly basis, and that 99th pick in the NFL draft, when we didn't even have a third round pick in the 2020 draft to begin with because of Leonard Williams, I would hate if that draft pick is just wasted, and this guy with somewhat promise is we'll just never know if he was going to work out as a Giant. Give him the opportunity.
And the large majority is because of how bad Nate Solder is. Like, if Mike Remmers was our starting right tackle, we wouldn't be banging on the table to start Matt Parrott.
No.
We'd talk about it, but we wouldn't be banging. Like, Nate Solder gave up a strip sack on the first play of the game from the right tackle position. And we know how much easier right tackle is than left tackle. You know, and again, they put so much effort into protecting Nate Solder with tight end help, running back chip. You know, it's like Matt Parrott can do that at right tackle. You know, and Matt Parrott kind of settled in a little bit after that first bad play where he got thrown in there cold. You know, like, do you remember calling Matt Parrott's name after that sack? You know, like it wasn't good,
really.
but it wasn't as bad as Nate Solder was the week before. And he's young. Like don't turn us wanting to start Matt Parrott into saying Matt Parrott's good. In fact, I don't think Matt Parrott's going to be good. And that's not from this game. From going into this game, if you said, do you think Matt Parrott's going to be a good player? I would say no. But if the issue is who we're talking about him versus.
Yeah. No, I agree. You know, I don't need to say that Nate Solder's one of the worst in his position. You should know this. Like, you should know this if you listen to us, if you like us, and stuff like that. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. I really don't want to beat a dead horse.
We want to give Parrott the opportunity to get better, which Nate Solder's not going to get better.
Give him the opportunity to stink, or give him the opportunity to be good and prove that he can possibly be an answer. That's simply what we are asking. The opportunity to find out what you have in a player in a season that is wasted. And frankly, we should have found out already by now, because Matt Parrott is just flat out a better player than Nate Solder. But again, that's not us saying that Matt Parrott is a good player. It's just saying that Nate Solder
literally
is
the
bad.
lowest bar you could find is he better than Nate Solder? Like, that's the lowest bar I've set for any player in the last 3 years covering the Giants.
It's like saying Snacks has red hair. It's just a fact. It's just a thing that exists.
Oh man,
I gotta laugh.
Like, you know that. Speaking of submarines, we can talk about that later.
Submarines.
You didn't see the Joe Judge submarine quote?
No, there was a Joe Judge submarine quote. Did you see
it's Bono lowering the bar.
Lowering the bar.
Like South Park episode where it's like how low we can lower the bar. Like, we have lowered the bar. In fact, I'm gonna make a meme out of that tomorrow.
Do make a meme out of it. I love it.
Here,
love a good meme.
Zach.
Love a good Monday morning meme.
Zach got the transcript and he told me he was excited to tweet this out.
I feel like Zach's been on a roll. Zach
this
tweeted
Joe
out
Judge, and this can turn into Joe Judge combo. This quote is it. Here we go. I want you to try and explain this to what he's saying.
Sure.
We're in that submarine right now. Something wrong happens, it's going to be someone on the ship to step up and save everyone. If there's a leak, someone's got to plug it for you. No one is coming. No one will get there in time to help you if you don't fix it yourself.
The Beatles' Yellow Submarine was playing in my head throughout you saying that. It kind of sounds like he's talking about the Giants as a sinking ship, which is true.
It's just a funny quote.
It is a funny quote.
What is
good metaphor?
What are you saying, Joe Judge?
That's where his brain goes to right away. I think of the Beatles, like is there not like a Beatles movie of them like being cartoons on a yellow submarine? That's what I think of, and I think of Joe Judge as part of the Beatles.
I'm not really a Beatles guy.
Nah, I could. Of course you
aren't. Why was Daniel Jones playing in the fourth quarter down 35 points without Andrew Thomas playing?
Now you see, this is where I kind of get where the coaches are coming from, because if we are going to be in a world where Andrew Thomas is not healthy to be going and rocking and rolling, and same thing with Kadarius Toney, or maybe they are healthy to play, but they're being held out just for being smart, I don't mind Daniel Jones getting extra reps with Dante Pettis and everybody else out there. I don't mind that.
I disagree. I don't think those reps... It's... Why take the chance of him getting hurt? You have bad offensive line play in front of him. Why take that chance? And you got... Shepard was out there too. Shepard, if that's the case, then they all should have played like a ton of preseason reps.
I
you can't not value the preseason and then say you value that. And Joe Judge said we did it to compete for 60 minutes, which that just doesn't make any sense.
No, I legitimately do think it is like Bobby. They got to get the kinks out. I'm not saying that. I know that I just said it and I hate it that I said that quote, but they want to go out there and they want to win against Carolina next week. And the best opportunity that they have to almost get ready is just to continue to get more reps with this weird, different offense that just isn't supposed to be out on the field with each other. And that's the way that they got to do it. And that I don't agree with that. I don't even know if I agree with it, but that's it. That makes sense in my brain, that the fact that he was out there that long.
But it's...
What I hate
12
more
minutes
about
left,
Judge,
you're down 35, and they don't bench him. And then, okay, whatever. They don't, and then you're down 35 with like 5 minutes left, and they are playing him. And then 2.5 minutes left, and they're playing. Like, it doesn't, take your guy out. Protect his health. You don't risk him getting an injury.
And I guess rebuttal to what I'm saying is, well, how much are you learning about your play calling and, repetition when a defense is not normally playing maybe a coverage or a scheme that they normally would be playing when the game is close? I don't know. But here's what I will say in terms of coaching with Judge, Garrett, or whoever that I had a problem with. There was a 3rd and short that they ran a QB sneak, and they got it. Great, you do it once. But then that 4th and short, I don't understand why, when Daniel Jones has historically been hurt, you talk about this, when Daniel Jones has historically been hurt, rushing between the tackles. I'm talking about like the lower body injuries, not like the head stuff, but the lower body injuries that can keep you out for extended periods of time. That's the stuff that he's got hurt on. So you did it once, great, and it worked. 3rd down, 1st down, boom, you moved the chains. They were inside the red zone. But then doing it again on 4th down when A and B gaps are just totally stuffed with 300-pound guys, and you have your $2.5 million backup running back there, and you don't give him the ball. I don't understand. So I had a problem with that 4th down decision to QB sneak it. I like going for it.
I don't worry about the injuries, but I do hate 4th down QB sneaks. And I know like some people will play their will say I'm playing the result, but I do in Daniel. The last 2 seasons, there's only been 2 times where a 4th and 5 or less wasn't converted when it was put in Daniel Jones' hands running or passing. And they were both on 4th and 1 QB sneaks.
Yeah.
I just hate them because you're trusting a bad interior offensive line to get pushed. And it's I just give it to the running back. Let him be able to react or jump over the pile or do something. I just kind of hate those, but that's...
Devontae Booker tripped on nothing on like a 3rd and short. It's a mess. It's just a mess. They even when they make the right decision, it's not the right decision. So
when the offense went right back to like curl and stick concepts.
Oh yeah,
that is what, especially when the O line is just Garrett goes back to that.
Yeah, Daniel Jones's average stuff to target was like under 7 yards today. So,
where are you at with Joe Judge overall right now? Because I'm kind of like the things I liked about him aren't showing up. And then the things I don't like about him are still very prevalent.
I at this point, Bobby, I still don't even know. I
we
still
got a
don't
lot
even
of time
know.
before
You know,
we do that.
I'm really, really, and this can maybe be a segue. I'm really pissed at this defense and its players. I really am. I was giving.
They're gonna give up, by the way.
They're gonna give up.
I'm saying defense has a lot to do with effort, and when you start losing,
Yeah.
that's what you lose first. Is defense has so much to do with like detail and giving full effort and attention on every play. Where offense, you can get away with taking some plays off.
There's more or less veterans on defense than there is on the offense side of the ball, right?
Yeah, the defense has veterans and it has players on that defense. I'm actually not like outraged with the defense after this game, comparatively. Like it was bad, but like, the Rams had 2 touchdowns on 12 and 14-yard drives. By Giants turnovers.
No, I'm just mad at these players that this is a defense full of playmakers, but we don't have any playmakers. That is what
Logan Ryan hasn't made a single play this year, really.
Xavier McKinney is
2
just
interceptions.
so bad. There was a play in the second half.
Did McKinney have the worst 2-interception game in NFL history?
And didn't he? I mean, he dropped. The crazy thing is that they dropped the important ones. The 2 that they had, the interceptions that they had today were some of the most pointless interceptions. But they drop interceptions.
They lead the league in dropped interceptions, by the way.
They do. Did you find that stat?
Well, Patricia Traina said they were leading coming into this game, so I'm just going to assume they're leading.
Well, yeah, they had 2 or 3 more dropped today. Bradbury dropped 1. McKinney dropped 1. I don't know if anybody else dropped 1, but it's an every week thing. If it was just like 1 game, 2 games here and there, it's like, oh, your defenders are going to drop interceptions. It is an every game kind of thing, and it's similar to what we talk about with Evan Engram. It's like, how do you even coach that? It's like, oh, just catch the ball. So that's what's just frustrating, that there's interceptions that are in these guys' hands. Towards the beginning part of the season, there were sacks that were in their hands. Now it's just the edge room is just bad. Like they're just flat out terrible.
Aziz isn't doing the sacks to overlook like his inconsistence now, and there's Quincy Roche is not. He was inactive today, which I'm not going to be that mad about it. But it's like what O'Shane Ximines doesn't do anything.
Tay Crowder, who I thought had some good plays, but just Tay Crowder one-on-one with running backs on the outside.
Yeah, you can't do
that anymore. We can't. J.D. McKissick burned him for 70, 80 yards against Washington. Darrell Henderson, which it's like, what? Burned him for a touchdown in the second quarter. Just what are we doing? You can't have it. Like this.
Yeah, you can't be mad at Crowder for that. That's on Graham. Like you can't do that. And that's where McKinney was supposed to be over the top on. Like you got to have a safety over the top if you're going to do that type.
Well,
of
my
stuff.
whole thing with McKinney, McKinney had the dropped interception, which that was right in his hands. It was tipped by one guy, and then it was right in McKinney's hands. You got to find a way to pull that down. And there was a play in the second half where Cooper Kupp is basically stationary, catches a ball stationary, and Xavier McKinney. I've seen plays of him in Alabama where he will just freaking boom, shoulder pad to the hip, to the legs, helmet, biting the ball, wrapping up, and he just makes plays on dudes, and he hits, and he's physical. You don't have to be the biggest guy in the world, but you can try, and you can give effort, you can play the game of football. You got pads for a reason. I feel like my father right now. My father's like, you got pads for a reason, use them. So instead, he kind of pitter-patters to Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp winds up getting 4 or 5 yards after the catch. It's like, it's bad. It's just bad play, and you just mentioned where that is on Graham, where you can't have one-on-one, but also I don't want to put Tay Crowder on a running. I don't want to put Reggie Ragland on a running back. I don't want to put Carter Coughlin on a running back. I don't want to use a safety.
No, I'm saying put the safety over the top.
Yeah.
But that's like McKinney should have been over the top on that.
Tay Crowder's supposed to be this athlete that he's fast, he can run with anybody. I'm really, really frustrated with, and I guess you disagree with that, and that's fine.
You put a tailback on the outside versus linebackers, he should win that battle. Like Tay Crowder's a good athlete.
a former running back.
Yeah, I mean,
I know what you're saying. I know what
Tony's
you're saying.
a former quarterback.
But understand what I'm saying. I'm just frustrated with the fact that there are playmakers on this defense, and there are plays to be made every single week, and they're not making them. And I'm not saying that these dropped interceptions can be the difference between wins and losses, because guess what? The Giants' defense is still just bad. Even when they're even when they're not dropping interceptions, they're still allowing 12, 13 play drives, and they're still allowing points. So it's frustrating. I watch the game and I get more mad at the players than I do at Lake Patrick Graham.
Nickel is such a huge issue right now. But here's
Peppers
what I will
burned.
say.
Peppers got burned.
Yeah, let's not put Jabril Peppers covering Cooper Kupp man coverage out of the slot.
Nope.
Especially when we don't have a pass rush. That is where you can blame Pat. And then, you put Julian Love at nickel. He gave up 2 touchdowns today on rub routes where he just totally, screwed up on those. The Robert Woods one and then the other one, I forget who it was to. He got screwed he screwed up on those plays. I don't remember Darnay Holmes played a decent amount. I don't remember him having any bad plays. So maybe just put Darnay Holmes back at nickel like he was last year. But don't put Peppers at nickel corner. Come on. It's why are we misusing Peppers? And I'm a Peppers apologist, but it's you can't put him on man coverage on Cooper Kupp. Here, I wanted to do this little game, though. I know it's not real life. If I told you that the Rams' leading runner had 78 yards on 3.7 yards per carry, and their second receiver was Higbee with 5 catches for 36 yards, would you say a really good day by the Giants defense?
Yeah.
That's what happened. But
just knowing the scope of the game. What did the Rams have? 240 passing yards, and the Giants had 200. This game was very second quarter heavy, where 28 points in the second quarter, 0 points for the Rams in the first quarter. Then 3 and 7 in the third and fourth quarter, respectively. And fun fact for the Giants, this still continues. They've only allowed 3 points in the first quarter all season, and that was to Dallas last week. And I don't understand, what is the Giants' offense doing in the first quarter to move the ball so well, which I feel like every week they move the ball really well, but a problem is they don't come away with 7 points, where, again, that's an issue in the red zone where you can't execute, you can't finish drives, and whether it's offense, whether it's Jason Garrett play calling, which I put it a little bit more or less on that part, because that's where play callers really shine, how they can kind of design plays in the red zone, where, take for example, there was a touchdown, one of the touchdowns that went to Cooper Kupp, I believe, where Matt Stafford was rolling out to his right, and then there were 2 guys running a route very similar to each other, but Coop lined up, sticking the ball in right by the pylon. I believe the ball was on the left hash mark. The Rams were inside the red zone. They were inside the 10-yard line. Stafford rolls out to his right. There are multiple players running routes on that side of the football field, and Stafford has his option in terms of where he wants to go. Whereas last week, where Mike Glennon, he rolls out to his right. They were on the right hash mark. Kadarius Toney is the only player running around in the end zone, and then Mike Glennon has to throw the ball away and just eat it. So there's differences there. So I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just
it's frustrating. This was a bad defensive game.
Yeah.
But 2 touchdown drives at 12 and 14 yards. Offense screwed them on that. I'm interested to see how it happened X's and O's wise, because this game kind of got lost. Now the scoring plays, again, 2 of them were Julian Love screwing up rub routes, totally getting lost on them.
Tay Crowder.
Yeah, the Tay Crowder one, and then I think
was it the Cooper Kupp one that I'm talking about, where he rolls out to the right, Stafford,
and throws to the left, or
no. He threw it on the right. He threw it on the right sideline. Maybe that was a
Julian it was Love the rub route.
It
looked like it was Adoree Jackson's fault, but it was Julian Love's fault.
Lovely.
On the one, I don't know, you probably weren't paying attention this closely, but it looked like Logan Ryan and James Bradbury pulled up a little bit at the end of that last Cooper Kupp one. I don't want to say that for sure, but it just kind of looked like it.
Yeah, sure. Making business decisions at this time of the year, so.
Yeah, they're giving up 38 points. That's obviously a horrible game defensively.
Yep. I can't understand.
We talk about the bright spot.
Yeah, let's talk about the bright spot, which is.
And then he totally ruined it.
Oh no, I thought our bright spot was going to be our new sponsor and our new
that is our new that is the bright spot. This episode's going a lot longer than we expected.
I know, but I'm kind of glad. I feel like we're having some good conversation. So let's talk about the Candlewick Diner. We want to talk about one of the best places to go next time you are going to a game. Which please, come to Giants games. I know they're expensive. This is a really bad pitch to go to MetLife Stadium. But the reason why you should go to MetLife and you should come see me is before the game, or even the night before, if you're coming from out of state, out of the area, go to the Candlewick Diner. Tell them Talking Giants sent you. Located just a mile up the road from MetLife Stadium, Candlewick Diner is the perfect spot for your pregame breakfast, postgame dinner or drink, full-service bar. So Snacks really wanted to go. We were actually talking about this on the way home. Snacks really wanted to go to Candlewick to get some Pinot. That's his best friend, Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio.
Yep.
Got it right. So full service bar. You can have breakfast for dinner, which I love personally. My favorite thing off the menu is pulled pork eggs Benedict with hollandaise sauce on the top. Perfect, delicious, chef's kiss. So what I want you to do, I want you to go to their Instagram page at Candlewick Diner, at Candle, common spelling, but then WYCK Diner for great specials, and go to candlewickdiner.com for online ordering and their menu. And you thought Ben McAdoo's diner menu, when he was a Giants coach, you thought that was big and overwhelming? The Candlewick Diner menu, it is overwhelming in the best of ways because there are so many options, and every single option is good. I had a meatloaf sandwich even the last time that I went. Boom. Loved it. I want to go back and I want to have breakfast for dinner again. Candlewick Diner, East Rutherford, New Jersey. And next time you're at MetLife, do what the Giants do and head over to the Candlewick Diner.
I was hoping you'd stall for 2 more seconds because I had my motorcycle going by. Leonard Williams, 2 third-down sacks, a nice tackle for a loss. Had a really good game. Basically, shoved it in the hater's mouth. Being like, stop saying I'm not playing good because I'm playing good, And through 6 games, he has 3 sacks, 4 or 5 tackles. He's having a good season. Obviously, he's never going to match what he did last year. If he matched what he did last year, he'd be Aaron Donald. But he's a good player, and then his boo take is just come on, man. You can't, you just don't say that. I know that you're, you kind of not a hippie, but very just a chill dude. But and I know you got drafted by the Jets and then traded to the Giants and the New York media. But you can't tell people I wouldn't boo a salesman. It's come on, dude. It's not the same. It's not the same. And it's the most harmless thing in the world a fan can do is boo.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I was listening to the post-game presser on the way home. And there's 2 sides to this story. The one side is...
They cut out part of it, though.
Oh, well, I was listening on the radio. So maybe you
did hear it. Was it when Madeline Burke is cutting it in and out?
I don't know. I what I heard is me getting frustrated by certain beat reporter questions, which I was sitting in the car with snacks, and I said, how people like to tell, you and I, Bobby and Justin, they like to be like, I wish you guys could get in the locker room to ask these guys questions. Today is a really good affirmation and a reminder that I will never do that. You can pay me money. You can offer me money to go into the locker room and ask questions, and I will go in the locker room, but I will not ask a single question, especially after games like today, because everybody got asked, do you like being booed? Do you think being booed is what do you think that these guys are going to say? So beat reporters on one side, they have to ask questions, and what are you going to ask, right? So that's one side. The other side is when you ask a football player if they like to be booed, I don't think anybody's going to say, yeah, I really like it. Where you should say as a football player, booing is acceptable when the team is bad. So the fact that Leonard Williams took it that far is bad. But I was listening to it in the moment, and I didn't have the biggest problem with it. But he did take some pauses because I think he was thinking about what he wanted to say, and I think he knew that what he said was bad. So.
But it's not that he said that he didn't like being booed. Of course he should say that. What he said is I don't agree with that. No one should be put down. I wouldn't go to a salesman. And to the Madeline Burke live show with Carl Banks and Amani Toomer, they cut that part out.
Oh no, we heard that on the radio where he said nobody deserves to be put down. We heard that on the radio.
And I wouldn't go to a salesman and boo him. Which, by the way, I have a DMV appointment today, and I should have booed them last time because they really did piss me off. But I'm probably gonna try and record them. And
do it for content. That'll be really fun.
Yeah. So that should be coming out tomorrow.
There was a good Leonard Williams gif that you got today that I'm gonna have to save.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was saying that come on, dude, boos are the most harmless thing.
They are.
When I hate when athletes do that, and it actually happened with the Yankees. And I remember John Boy and Trevor Plouffe were going at it, and I just wanted to strangle Trevor Plouffe. I was like, come on, dude, it's a boo. There's nothing the most harmless thing you could do to a human being is boo them.
Yeah.
You could be like Tom Coughlin in the loud mic and go,
special. The regular season had its
Oh, wrong one.
Oh, wrong one.
Here it is.
Fire the coaches. Fire the players.
Come on, Tom. You can't be saying that on a day like this. Like, I'm going to clip those 3 seconds.
I'm pretty sure somebody wrote that speech for him, and it was intentionally slanted to be an address to the fans about the 2021 season. There's no way he wrote that speech. Oh, yeah. That was like propaganda.
I just feel like Tom isn't trying to do the Giants any favors,
No. Well, I mean, I thought that speech was a big favor to the Giants. I kind of didn't like it. It was just a big summary of like what happened. It's like, yeah, coach, we were there, bud. We were there. Like we saw it. But I don't know. I'm never gonna hate it. I can't hate it.
Comparing this to like the early, like they were winning games and being like that's where New York can suck, when it's unreasonable. Like Kadarius Toney and Andrew Thomas, like their hate was unreasonable early. Like were given no. Hell, Toney didn't even play, and they were, they were people were calling him a bust. Thomas just had some early struggles as a left tackle in the NFL. Like that's the part of New York that sucks. Like that's not what this is. Like this is a 2 years in a row you're 1-5.
Yeah,
and probably 2 years in a row of being 1-7. It's just not the same. So Leonard Williams, you can't complain about booing is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. I said this a couple weeks ago. I'm at a point where I'm not gonna let post-game quotes bother me. I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, but there's a difference between post-game quotes and Leonard Williams saying that.
Yeah.
Like I would be happy if he did what the Mets did and like did the thumbs down back. I actually would like. I know people got mad at him for that. I actually kind of love that. Like I love that like galvanizing moment. Like, all right, we'll boo you back. Yeah. Screw you. Like I would have no problem with Leonard Williams doing that. I know people, the majority of the fan base would. I would like it. Our comments on the live stream Patreon is booing right now, which I love. But him saying like, "Oh, I want to boo a salesman," it's like, come on, dude. Like, but but like you said, I'm not making any judgments on Leonard Williams off of that comment. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, beat reporters asking the question, do you like being booed? Or I think it puts,
which they got.
I think it puts players in a very difficult spot because you're coming off of a loss where you've just got your asses handed to you, and then you're asking basically somebody, do you like when people not like when you get your ass kicked? And it's like, well,
ask me if I like getting booed, Justin.
Do you like getting booed, Bobby Skinner?
No, of course not. But at the same time, like these fans pay hard-earned money to play these, to come to these games, and they want a better product, and we haven't given them that.
Which I very much acknowledge that he could have worded that differently. All right,
like the easiest answer of all time. It's been, do you like being booed? Has been asked to athletes. It's probably the most asked question to an athlete of all time. And
wait, it was actually really funny. It was actually really funny. Snacks. So was it Daniel Jones that they asked? Do you like?
Oh, I said that. I was like, that's the most emotional.
But what was the question? What was the question? Was it do you like being? What do you think of being booed? It was what do you think?
Yeah.
So last week or
no,
2 weeks ago?
It was today.
Yeah,
today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So one of the beat reporters asked.
Laughing.
Yeah, one of the beat reporters asked, "What do you think about being booed?" And then Jones does like a double take. I can hear him do the double take. I was listening on the radio, but I can hear him do the double take. He's like, "What do I think?"
Yeah, what do I think?
He's like, yeah.
So
he said it. It was like one of the quickest, wittiest responses, unintentionally witty, that I've ever heard Daniel Jones have. What do I think?
That's fun. Joe Judge is getting a little snappy and precious, but that's obviously to be expected. Does Snacks want to jump on? Did you give him a Zoom link?
He sounded very defeated. Judge did. Do you want to hop on? I sent you the Zoom link. Yeah, you could do it from your phone. You should just zoom in from your room. How about that? Just be in that's really jank. Like we're literally in the same house, but he's gonna go in his room. Say hi.
Where am I looking?
Right there.
Hi.
Hi. All right, I'm gonna start the Art Stapleton story now. All right, podcast over. But we're going over now.
Who cares?
All right, so Art Stapleton story. I'll keep an eye out for Snacks because they'll come in. So, rookie mistake. I forgot a chair. I drove to Snacks' house at 6:15 in the morning this morning, and left his house. His buddy George drove, and I forgot a chair. And I got to L16, lot L16, and I tweeted out, rookie mistake, I forgot my effing chair. Art Stapleton replies, I didn't leave yet. Do you want me to bring you a chair? And I was like, sure. And then he DM'd me. He's like, do you really want me to bring the chair? I was like, no, you don't really need to. But then he brought it. He brought the chair. Our buddy Will texted Art. He says, bring the chair. So Art brought the chair. He came. He was in a great leather coat. Here, I'm going to let Snacks in. Great leather coat.
Yeah, he was looking fly.
Tie on. Art looked really, really good.
He had a very nice leather coat on, yeah.
Well, you sound like shit.
What do you want me to do?
I was kind of jealous of you guys getting to wear cold weather clothes a little bit.
Yeah. It was that's probably the only good thing. And I don't know if you could tell, Bobby, but Justin's burnt to a crisp and so am I. So
yours is a little more even. Justin's is like,
yeah, well, yeah, he had his glasses on the whole day. I would like sporadically take mine on and
he
off.
neast to wear sunscreen. I feel like I'm old. I feel like a mom right now.
you
But
feel
he needs to wear sunscreen.
you feel like our dad. Yeah.
At least you have a nice like even red.
Yeah, it's not bad. Red. Yeah, it's not tan. It's red.
And in season, I mean, I've been every Saturday. I go just spend time at the beach every Saturday now.
I know. I get jealous on your Instagram stories when you.
Oh, my Instagram story has been fire lately.
Yeah, they have been.
Beautiful beaches. Oh, beautiful beaches. So Art came. I have one more Art comment.
He what?
Art came. That's what she said. And
you were getting a lot of father like son replies about you and Art Stapleton.
Yes. So there's two things. One,
same sunglasses.
People were saying that that's my father, which I will take that. I
had two people come up to me at the tailgate and ask if that was your dad, Justin.
Really?
Yeah. So it's you and Art, and then me and LPG.
Yeah, and then me and Jason.
And Jason Garrett.
One big happy family.
So we need someone to make that meme tomorrow of like, and use the Justin and Art picture from yesterday. Do that, and then have like the side by side of all three of us next to our doppelgangers.
That's funny.
Perfect. So we got father,
it's like Bobby,
son
Justin,
comments.
and Snacks in 20 years.
And also, Art Stapleton needs to stop interviewing Giants players.
Okay, that's a real thing, by the way.
He interviewed Andrew Thomas this week.
He's doing Dexter Lawrence. All right, well then we can expect a broken fibula.
It's insane.
I'm worried that Andrew Thomas is seriously hurt.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to be. He's got to be. And Tony too.
Tony's is probably just like it's an ankle. Like he was.
It's
like,
an ankle sprain. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him long term.
Not long term, no. But Thomas,
I'm scared of the Thomas update. I'm not scared of the Tony update.
And I would much rather have good news for Thomas than I would Tony. Hate to say it, but
there are two most important players outside of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, right, exactly. And Thomas is more important. So
yeah.
I don't know.
What happened with you guys getting a ride home?
Oh,
final note about Art. All these things keep on popping in my brain.
All right.
So
tell your final note, and then I'll tell the how we got home story.
Art brought me a chair, and now I have Art Stapleton's chair, which Snacks. We didn't get that back from George.
You dumb motherfucker. Oh, I can't. I'm not, we're not. It's only Patreon, right?
It's all right. It's the end of the show. It's all right.
I am dumb. So you need to get that chair.
Yeah, I'll get the
Art.
chair. But Justin, you were
George.
in the car. I drove you to the car.
I know.
To get your shit, your stuff.
I know. And I forgot Art Stapleton's chair, which is arguably more important than my life right now. So I need to see
I'm sure
Art
he
next
really
week.
cares.
I need to see. Yeah, he does. Are you kidding me? That's his chair.
No, he's just waiting for the next Giants player that he's going to injure.
Just give it to him with the next game. It's the easiest fix of all
really,
time. I am low key excited to get there for that Eagles game because I know the season's going to be over and it's just going to be a good. It's just a party.
Honestly, Bobby, I was thinking about this before, like while you guys were recording and Justin was talking, and it's all I could hear. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. Like we're going to go every Sunday and like tailgate and just have a great time. And just go watch a football game, regardless.
Oh, I mean, it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, so everyone's already gonna be in like a mini vacation mode, anyways.
Right.
Like I'm planning on partying hard that Saturday.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
From sun up till sundown.
Because
the game day, I can't do it. The game we have to record after the game, so I can't. So Saturday is gonna be. I'm going hard.
Right,
unless we do an event, which I don't know if I really want to.
I would love to do an event. You don't have to be there.
You can't do an event drunk.
No,
Sure
you
you
have
can.
you have to be sensible.
No, you can't. It makes
Talk
it
to-
it makes it a horrible product. I'll be embarrassed. I don't want to be embarrassing myself and have video of me being embarrassing myself.
All right, I'll get snacks drunk for the event.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Um,
Yeah, sure.
Did you
But,
see my throw trash on the field, steal stuff tweet? I was very nervous. I had my finger over the button on that one for like 2 minutes. I was like, you know what? Screw it.
Okay. I swear to God, because I didn't talk to Justin for like 15 minutes at one point because I was so angry at him.
It's my fault.
Whatever. It worked out, and we're gonna get back to the how to get home story in a second, Bobby.
Oh, I thought you were mad at me because the Giants lost.
Well, besides that, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself. I didn't
Sure.
do enough to win, but I had my beer.
A lot of positives that you can take away. All right. I'll stop.
I had my beer bottle in my hand, and I legitimately, for probably 15 seconds, contemplated from Justin's seat up top throwing it on the field. What did I do instead? I probably had maybe like 4 sips left. I said, fuck this, and I threw it under my chair. I was this close to throwing it on the field like a deranged animal. I didn't. I held myself back, but I should have in hindsight. But I also didn't want to get Justin's season tickets removed, so it was kind of like it was a very double-edged sword type of thing. It would make me feel better, and then I'd feel really bad that Justin gets banned from MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, listen, the
because of me,
Giants
so.
lost 38-11, but the biggest win today is that I still have my regular season tickets after bringing snacks to a Giants game.
I thought I
Justin's
thought
not
I
going to
was
be able to
great
contain
today.
us for that Philly game because it's going to be 2-on-1.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah,
Actually,
Bobby,
no,
you're coming with me. That's like you're sitting next to me.
Bobby.
So is
sits next to
snacks. It's going to be empty. You could be able to sit wherever you
I
want.
was I was literally just gonna say, me and my brother are probably gonna sit by you guys too. So
You guys better sit by us.
yeah, definitely.
And your brother's crazy too. And like I know how to get like your brother flicking off Mark Slareth all the time makes my day. Like
He's
like he had a tweet saying something nice to Mark Slareth, and I messaged him. I was like, "What's this all about?"
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't tell me that. That's funny. He's like, I didn't want. He told me and Justin, he goes, well, I figure I'd try and be nice. I'm like, no. Once you
No,
get
he needs to
embedded
keep
in
that
a feud
up.
like that,
I'm
you
living
have to keep that
vicariously
up.
through his tweets at Mark Slareth because I know I
Yeah,
can't do them.
that's he's a pisser, my brother. And people think like I'm psychotic. I mean, I am. So you don't have to think it. You just know it. My brother's a kook too. He's crazy. He is very
Well, he
out
has an
there.
excuse. He's younger than us. Me and you are like 28 and 29 respectively.
Yeah.
We should
yeah.
not
My,
be
my
this
brother
way.
is going to be 25 in a month, so he's young. Yeah,
Oh, he's older than me.
yeah. He's not as cool as you though. All right.
That's
So
true.
anyway, Bobby, how we got home? So I had 2 ride homes. We went with my friend who left right after halftime. Like they watched the first possession. They're like, all right, we're out. I'm like, Justin, let's go. And Justin's like, no, we paid for the tickets. I want to watch football.
See, I agree with that. You can't force someone to go home from a game early.
Right. And I agree with that as well. But I also don't disagree with them wanting to leave and not being more embarrassed than they were. So I
I
get
agree
it.
with that.
It's fine. So it's like, I see both sides. And then my one of my good friends was sitting in front of us. He came over because of course there was no seats. And he was coming up by us. He goes, you guys want to ride? He left, I think, after the second possession of the third. And Justin's like, no, let's sit it out. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be impossible to get an Uber home. He's like, well, we'll figure it out. I'm like, all right, I'm with you. I'm not going to leave you behind. So we stayed for maybe 20 more minutes, which I wanted to kill him for. He goes, okay,
I wasn't
I'm ready
even
to go.
thinking. I wasn't
No, you
even
aren't. It's
thinking.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. I get where your head was at and not wanting to leave and watch football. I understand completely. But I also told you that those were our only 2 rides and we were screwed after that.
We didn't really fully talk about it. It was just things.
No, I
that
made it
were
clear. I made it clear. It's
happening.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's
I don't
fine.
remember this.
It'd
We're
be one
home.
thing but at the same time, like if those people were your ride and they left at halftime, it's like, come on, man, you got to at least like let it stick out to the fourth quarter. Like leaving at halftime when you're someone's ride, I feel like that's a bad move.
I see. I do understand that point too, but us Northern Jerseys are like, we're very stubborn people, and if we're like embarrassed or anything like that, I'm sure whoever's watching and just once you're done, you're done. You're out. You're going home. You go in the comfort of your own home, and you're gonna have your Sunday dinner. So I get it in that sense, but I also get Justin's point. So that's why I did want to stick it out, and I was like, all right, fine, we'll figure it out. Screw it, we'll figure it out.
I get 1 day a week. You better let me go right now.
But I agree. I get it. I get it.
A week.
Okay.
And I know I sign up for it. I'm not complaining that it's bad. I know it. I sign up for it even though I know it's going to be bad.
Yes.
So I want that one day a week where I can just sit and think of nothing else besides this crappy football team, where even though I'm very thankful now it's my job, but one day a week where I can just sit and be, no matter if the score is 35-0 Giants or 35-0 Rams. Like,
and
that,
that's what
that is
that is where 65% of me is on your side, and that's why I didn't mind staying, and I wasn't mad at you, and I said we'll figure it out because
so how
I
do we
don't.
get home? This is the fun.
All
story.
right, so Bobby, so my friend lives like in an apartment complex. I guess like
basically it's right across Route 3.
Yeah, but I'm trying to like figure if like Bobby knows Route 3. You know where Quest Diagnostics, like the practice center, is?
Yep, they have the best diagnostics according to Danny Shelton.
Well, Danny Shelton sucks.
But I was very close to being, when there was a Danny Shelton is injured tweet. I was really close to quote tweeting and saying it good. But I didn't want to do that, but I was thinking it.
Oh, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were thinking about tweeting a lot.
He
of
is
things.
so useless. If I was skinny,
yeah,
I would make fun of him being fat way more.
So I can do that? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start. So he lives like across from Quest Diagnostics. And it's, across the like two highways kind of you have to get over. So he's calling us. He's like, you got to go around this way. Me and Justin, I'll try and keep a long story short. Me and Justin walked literally around MetLife Stadium.
So we walked from MetLife to the Quest Diagnostics Center to the facility, the main Giants facility, back to MetLife Stadium to where the Uber pickups are. I listened to the post-game press conference. Now, mind you, we left with 10 minutes left. No, we left at the start of the fourth quarter.
We left the start of the fourth quarter.
We left at the start of the fourth quarter. We walked all the way around the facility, Quest Diagnostics, practice field, everything. Wound up back at the catwalk right by where the Uber pickup is. And then we didn't even wind up even technically getting an Uber.
No. So this is what happened. I tried to get an Uber, and we tried to find a ride. We tried to find a way over there. And I was finally just like, all right, screw this. I'm going to figure something else out. And I saw a yellow taxi, and we went up to him. He goes, where are you going? I'm like, Emerson. Oh, I probably shouldn't say whatever. I don't care. And I was like, all right, the Paramus area.
Come find him. Snacks will snap your neck.
Come find me. I don't care. I'll probably give you dinner. Like the Paramus area. And he goes, 120. I'm like, what? $120 for a 15-minute ride? You got to be kidding me. I don't care if there's a surplus of abundance need of ride. That's an insane.
Yeah, don't do that. I'd just walk. Price. How far of a walk would it be?
For 5 hours.
Better than 130. That's not bad. That's like what Justin made me walk home from Jersey City.
Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo.
That's terrible. So we were like, no. I'm like, no.
I was way more mad about that than I let on. But I was like, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to. I was like, he didn't do it on purpose.
Justin doesn't do anything on purpose. He just does it. He just does it subliminally as long as it helps him. So I've learned that. But I'm kidding. You hear that? I'm kidding. But so all right. So we went into like the Uber lot, and there's like a line full of people. They all look wealthy and whatnot, and I got 2 Ubers. The first one canceled. The second one was 14 minutes out, and I'm like, okay, cool. It was like a reasonable price. And with 3 minutes left, it canceled. I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So some guy comes up to us randomly, and he goes, where are you heading? And I told him, and he goes, all right, you pay me this, no tip included, I'll take you there. I said, screw it, I'm in. Justin, right or wrong, we could not do it any longer.
I mean, I was listening to the post-game press conference, and I was fine. But you were done.
I was done. Well, then are you kidding? You're going to throw me under the bus like that?
No, I mean, I was good. I was good waiting and doing whatever you wanted. But
I wasn't. All right, long story short, it was an absolute circus nightmare to get home today.
And the sad thing is, the sad reality of all this is, we had an extra parking pass, and I could have easily driven my own car to the Giants game with snacks in it.
Or I could have drove. One of us could have drove.
Or somebody else could have driven, because we did have an extra parking pass. And I knew in the back of my brain that the people that Snacks usually goes to games with have the tendency to leave early, and I never considered that.
Yes.
When
Because
I
we
come
are
up there, my
blindly-
hotel's near the Bronx, or not near the Bronx. It's it's in the Meadowlands.
We are
Oh,
blindly
perfect. You're 15 minutes from me,
optimistic for
Bobby.
this football team, thinking that it could have been a game.
Oh, what did I say? First possession. I'm like, all right, 3 and out. Let's go. Let's get something going here. We're
Yeah,
sitting
Leonard
there
Williams
like,
living up to that contract, right, Snacks?
oh man. Oh. Listen. I know you guys were talking about it before, and I'm going to listen to it later, like your perspective too, Bobby. I was genuinely upset when Leonard Williams wasn't on the field. I'm like, is he okay? Is he okay? I was concerned.
Oh yeah,
So-
remember that drive where Danny Shelton and Raymond Johnson were taking the place of
And I'm like
Dexter
smacking
Lawrence
Justin. I'm
and-
like,
Raymond Johnson's
I'm like,
a
do you
decent pass
have-
rusher, but he's not a good run defender.
Do
No.
you have a Leo Williams update? Like, is he hurt? Is he
No.
hurt?
It's like he ran on the field to start the drive, and then they took him off because I think they were just rotating guys in, and Danny Shelton's just not good. And then
I
lo and behold-
really, the words he said about the booing really rubbed me the wrong way, but the questions were brutal. Like, they were brutal. I just think he could have answered it better.
Yeah.
They have every right to boo. We're not performing well. That's their right. That's all you have to say. Very simple. Very simple. But I mean, I don't blame him. He's frustrated, and these beat reporters ask terrible questions. So
Yeah, I mean they're all headline hunting.
yeah,
Which
exactly.
part of me gets annoyed by it, but it's like at the same time, it's like they got to do what makes.
You know, the back page tomorrow is gonna be
but
Leonard.
that's what makes
Williams
us
on the
good. Is like we
podium.
don't need
That's-
to headline hunt. You know.
I know. It's
Um,
awful. It's awful. All right, you guys wrap up. I
yeah,
appreciate
let's
you letting me come
get out of here. So you got 20
on. All
minutes
right, I
of
love you
story
both.
time.
Love you both.
Goodbye,
Yeah, I
Snacks.
mean
We'll see you
this,
back
this is
in-
our longest recap pod ever. Usually they last like less than 45 minutes.
We needed story time.
Yeah, we needed something to keep people entertained. It was a good show.
Art
Bad team,
Stapleton's my
good show.
father.
All right, we'll be back on Wednesday. Mailbag. Can't wait for all the snarky mailbag questions we put out on Tuesday. So we'll be there. Still going to do the O-line report. I don't know what I'm going to do for the O-line report. Is it usually I do one? There wasn't enough sacks to just like go through the sacks. I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do for the O-line report.
I don't know what I'm doing for the stats report. I have no
So?
clue.
Tune in to find out what we do because right now we don't know. So we appreciate you guys. We really do. Not going to tell you it's going to get better because it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But we appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Wednesday. Until then, let's go Big Blue.